case.
I understand. We'll see how.
I personally suggest a funeral pyre, but
see how Vander feels about it.
They're your people, and can go with it from there. Is there a place somewhere deep in the temple we can have this axe? Obviously, it's. I don't want it letting out there. I don't want to just drop it in the water somewhere and hide it.
Perhaps we should leave it here, and the sheriff will take care of it and keep it as evidence.
All right, we can do that.
I mean, if you want, I can, but it just seems. I know that Hemlock has asked you on this case, but
well, we're beyond the town guard situation here. It's your town.
We'll just leave it here then.
We can't reopen the sawmill with this thing left here.
Yes. I'm sure Hemlock has plans very shortly to get rid of the bodies. I was not even informed of any murders, as he keeps things tight-lipped.
Now
he takes things very personally, and doesn't really. He tries not to worry the citizens of Sandpoint and other affiliates.
I would just say, don't even necessarily need to say why. If you're training your acolytes, let's focus the lessons around undead slaying.
Yes.
Let's change the courses a little bit if we can go that way. The slaying of undead and such doesn't need to be even a panic to them.
Yes, I won't even. I'll just think of it as training for them.
Perfect.
And they won't even know the real reason.
Let's make our way to Igor. Ebor.
Sounds good. Quadra would like to have a talk with him.
All right. Eva Thorne is actually back at the guardhouse in one of the interrogation cells.
Sounds good. That's where Vander is too, right?
Yes. Different
Sweet.
cell,
We'll
though.
Both at the same time.
Hemlock does tell you before you go in there that to be gentle to Ebor in your interrogation.
Okay.
Thorne has been through a lot in the last few hours.
I'll play.
Right.
Quadra says he'll play with kid gloves.
All right. So you go down there.
All right.
And there's a man in a blood-stained white shirt with curly, tousledy brown hair, with a somewhat broad nose, and he has his hand like this on his forehead, and he goes, yes, the heroes of Sandpoint, it may seem. But
Quadra walks up and he asks, "Why can't we get this man another shirt?" Trying to win him over a little bit. He doesn't need to be surrounded.
Is there something wrong with my shirt? I don't know. I haven't really looked down at anything else. I'm just kind of sitting here wondering what's going to happen next. I don't know.
All right,
anything.
time to roll diplomacy.
Not
bad.
Oh, hello, miss. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Thorne.
I unfortunately, I saw a very pretty lass, much like yourself, dismembered and brutally dismembered in the sawmill when I went there this morning. Your face just reminds me of her, but your voice soothes me.
My sense motive is passively. I'm trying to analyze to see if he's hiding anything, if he actually is the killer that he's talking about, or if he is innocent for sure.
Okay. He shuns away from you, Tangle. He doesn't feel like being touched by anyone.
You want a drink, son?
I don't want anything. I just want. I want
Do
to
you
be.
need anything?
I want to be alone. I don't. It's. I've already told the sheriff everything I know, how I saw the bodies. I don't know, but Quadrille, you do sense that he's holding something back.
So I sit down with him.
Are you sure there's nothing else you can tell us?
And he looks over to you, and because you have kind eyes. Yes, I have been keeping secrets, I suppose. Parker, the man who was also slain. This is all I know. I don't know if it can be related to the incident or not, but it seemed that Parker had been cooking the books for himself, as he was a rather greedy person at times. I never took part in any of the scams, mind you, at all.
I believe you.
But Parker might have stashed away quite a lot of money by skimming off the top from sales and business over the past several years. And the Scarnettis, a noble family who owns the lumber mill, do have a reputation for being ruthless. And if they were to find out that someone had been stealing from them, who knows? But I shouldn't have told you this. It could put my life in danger. I don't.
Why would it put your life in danger if you've done nothing wrong?
Because I've known about it. But perhaps the Scarnettis. I wouldn't put it above the Scarnettis to hire someone to kill Harker if they had found out they had been embezzling.
I ask him point blank, I say, is your only involvement in this current situation that you found them?
Yes.
And in that sense motive.
Yes, that is all.
So Quadrille knows he's telling the truth.
Yes.
All right.
Roxy, she doesn't touch him, but she gets as close as you comfortably can get, and she says, "Thank you for the information. Every little bit counts."
All right. And he seems relieved a little bit from that. Vander is
all right. I walk up to him and I'm like, "Hello, old friend. It seems quite a shame that we've come to this situation. Do you know where your daughter's whereabouts were on the unfortunate night of her death?"
Wouldn't it be obvious? She was at the lumber mill. Obviously.
Well,
that's where she was found. That's where she was murdered.
So did she tell you that she was going to be going to the lumber mill with friends? Or
what do you think? She's old enough to keep care of herself. Of course, I'd been investigating. Just trying to keep track of her, but it seems both of my daughters have a wild streak in them.
I turn away and I talk to Roxy because it feels like Roxy and I are the ones trying to analyze these people. And I say to her, it'd be nice if we could calm them down just a little bit. Anger's going to get him nowhere. And I say that.
He looks over at Mooka and says,
"Hey, no, I stayed outside. No.
Oh, are you? Are you standing outside?"
Yeah, we agreed that he stands outside.
Yeah, Ken did say that earlier.
Okay.
All right.
So I tell Roxy that if she could calm him down somehow, maybe I could pick up something more from him.
Roxy squats down and says, "Look, Ben, we understand your distress about all this. I mean, Katrine didn't deserve to die that way. We're investigating the murder right now, and any information we can get would be very useful. Don't worry, we'll bring the perpetrator to justice. I swear to you that we'll do that."
Thank you. I was just sitting at home when it happened. He's still very angry, but he's able to talk now. I was at home, and Sheriff Hemlock visited after learning of the murders, but I I'm afraid I punched Sheriff and knocked him out. Well, didn't knock him out, but knocked him back. But Sheriff is a capable man and was able to restrain me with his guards. And he threw me down here to cool me off.
Quadril speaks Zen-like. He said, from like his monk training, he says that anger will get you nowhere, friend. And in times like these, we all need to work together, not against each other. So I have a few questions, if you could answer them.
All right, make a diplomacy.
I was going to do sense motive because I was going to ask a question right after that. Can I do that?
It's kind of a two-part thing.
Yeah, diplomacy is horrible. Yeah. All right. Well, the sense motive, I'll just ask my question anyway.
Let me try. No, another 23.
All right.
Roxy tries to correct Quadrule as he speaks. You know, tries to soften and make his words more friendly.
Well, you got the good cop, bad cop going on.
That's what they got going on. Right. Quadrule with the sense motive and Roxy with the diplomacy.
Fuck. Never mind. Apparently, I don't fucking know anything. All right, we're good.
You can't fail skill checks.
I could try again, I guess? I don't know what you mean. Well, because
my question isn't an automatic failure and a 20 isn't an automatic success.
Okay. My question was
he tells you that that I'm innocent. If anything, it could have been Muka, your friend, but I don't think so. As he seems, despite his lustful ways, that he seems to be a stand-up fellow. And
I say that
I don't think it was Muka. He never even met Katrine.
We don't think it's you either. That's not what we're here for.
As you're doing this conversation, Sheriff comes down and with the keys, he goes, "I've actually just exonerated all of his suspicions and crimes. His alibi seems to hold up with his wife and other people I was questioning."
I ask him really quickly if he thinks that somebody was out to get Katrine or if she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, unfortunately, you know as well as I that Katrine, and it appeared Shayla's from that encounter with your friend, both kind of try to do their own things, and I try as hard as I can to keep in touch with them, but they do what they do.
So okay, I'll take that. Quadril bows. He says enjoy your release. If there's anything we can do, don't hesitate to ask. Then he walks out and leaves Roxy there.
All right.
Muka asks him what he learns once he walks out.
Yeah, I catch Muka up on this. So apparently Vander and I aren't bros anymore.
Huh.
No, he's just. I mean, what would you do if your daughter just?
Yeah, no. I mean, I understand, but he should know by now that if anybody who could help him, we can help him. And so
here's the standpoint.
I'll talk to him a little bit later, I guess. But I guess
random dice got here before Rox. She's already on good footing with him, 223s and whatnot. Yeah. Roxy before as Sheriff Hemlock's letting Vander go, Roxy, walks up to him and says, "As I said before, we'll bring this murderer to justice."
I appreciate that. I hate this town is my life. It always has been and always will. I will die with this town if need be. If the town needs me to die with it. And what I hate most is for these things to happen in this peaceful, lovely town. So please, investigate as you must, but try not to cause any undue suspicion.
Well, I'll keep that in mind.
Says thank you. And then he lets Vander go. And yeah, where to next?
All right, so what about the insane asylum? There's another guy.
Yep. How about the B&B? Whatever.
There's what was that list I gave you guys?
We got Sandpoint Lumbermill, Eva Thorne, Vander, the First Murders, and the Rune was what the list was. So, I mean, we also would have the sanatorium, which is where. So originally there was 3 con men killed in the abandoned bar south of town. The bodyguard survived, and he's in the sanatorium. So if we could,
Right. Yeah, that's what I was
Go
wondering.
there.
Let's see here. Okay, and before you go, the Sheriff Hemlock goes, "Oh yes, I dug in some of that file like you asked, Carl. And here it is." He goes, 2 days ago, a patrol of guards along the Lost Coast Road were assaulted by a deranged man near an abandoned barn south of town along the banks of Cougar Creek. The man was obviously sick and insane, his flesh fevered, eyes wild, mouth frothing, and clothes caked with blood. The guards subdued him, but when they checked inside the barn, they discovered the mutilated bodies of 3 men. Although all 3 bodies were far too disfigured to identify, one of them carried a piece of parchment that I found right here. So let me add that in real quick. Oh, did I save it as message? I saved it as a Photoshop file. Damn it. Okay, 1 second. I forgot to save it as a JPG instead of a photo. Yeah, sorry. Take a second to resave.
I'll be a little bit more used tomorrow. Now that I kind of know the track that we're on. We certainly don't want to waste the time, though. I'm not sure. My talking.
Roxy just really quickly brings the sheriff up to speed with their investigation, how they came to the conclusion some sort of sentient undead thing that wasn't a vampire is responsible for the murder.
All right.
So I'm not going to be of much help talking or even really, looking too much. I'd like to retire myself to the temple. I'm basically just going to pouring through anything that I can in terms of the 6-sided star.
All right. So this message identifies the bodies as Zach. I'm going to mute you for a second. As Tarch Mortwell, Leonard Hask, and Gedwin Tabe, 3 notorious con men and swindlers, as Hemlock points out, as local troublemakers. He goes, I personally forbade 3 men from operating their con games and their barely legal operations in Sandpoint. And I wasn't particularly surprised at the time to find them murdered. It was only a matter of time before they tried to swindle someone worse than them after all. But in the light of the mill murders and the fact that Mortwell, Hask, and Tabe all bore the same 7-pointed marking on their chest that Harker did, I'm convinced that something far worse than revenge is afoot.
Were they mutilated?
Yes, they all had the
jaws cut off.
Yes,
jaws cut off.
Yes, they were the same thing. Eyes gouged out and all that. They were only identifiable because of this note that I'm showing you right now.
Now, Sheriff, you saw something like that and you thought it was just con men getting killed?
Yes, a one-time incident. You can't start stringing along murders of until another type of murder happens.
How many murders have symbols burnt into the people?
Very true. But the bodies of all 3 men are lying in a cool basement below our Sandpoint garrison. Not far from here, and you're welcome to check them out if you wish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and, you can tell who the Skippy, the guard standing outside of the lumber mill.
Yes.
Yeah, you can tell him that it all makes sense to me now. The town is basically as I would have expected.
It's a little podunk town, you know. He goes, "What's that supposed to mean?"
I'm stunned, honestly. But regardless, let's go see these bodies. I would say in the future that if you do see ritual desecrated killings, that might just be.
He goes, I have no idea
someone...
that this was anything to do with rituals. I don't know what this star means. I don't know anything about this, so.
Yeah, I'd like to go check out the bodies.
All right.
And then we'll head off to the insane asylum.
I think we should make Curall sheriff.
Hemlock. Also says that the insane man earlier is identified as Grace Sevilla, and he's he's being taken care of in the sanatorium. But you go down there towards the cooler and make a DC 15 heal check.
All right. 8.
So Grace is the guy who was deranged and frothing and was arrested, right? Grace Sevilla, or is that one of the dudes that got killed?
Yeah, that's him.
That's a bodyguard. Okay, cool.
Quadrule, if you would actually come with me, unless you want to go to the asylum.
Okay.
There's something. If you don't want to, I'd like to just borrow your ring.
My ring?
Your ring.
I don't have a ring.
Your force shield ring?
I don't. I sold it. In the last couple of weeks, we sold it for items so everybody could get some really sweet shit.
Yep. Where did you sell that?
Poor Corral.
Where did you sell that at?
I'm assuming it was sold to our great friend merchant. I don't remember his name right now, but it's
actually
pretty penny.
sold to a merchant from Magnamar as he was passing through.
Oh shit! So we can't get hit again.
Yeah, Magnamar is like a very large city.
That's the reason. That's the reason we have all these really nice things. I don't understand why you're so upset.
There's no chance this merchant is still in town?
Not at all. It was days ago.
Roxy whistled innocently.
I don't understand what the problem is. If you can explain yourself.
Well, we've clearly got bodies that are showing up with the same symbol that your ring had on it.
Roxy pulls out the Shildron. She's like, still got this.
I'll take any of that. I just want to see if there's any reaction from the bodies in that. But
okay, yeah. The ring had no. It was just a regular ring.
No, it had the ring was a regular ring, but when you activate it, it was a shield in the shape of a 7-pointed star.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty badass, actually. All right. Anyways, yeah, we've got the medallion still, so you should be able to do your scientific research study shit.
Yeah, I'd like to check out the bodies there with the 18. I'm looking for the same bite mark types of thing. Oh, claw marks. I'm sorry, no bite marks.
Yeah, all 3 bodies bear the same claw marks similar to those that you have already discovered on Harker's body. And while you're doing this, Hemlock says, "Yeah, Grace Sevilla is kept over there in the sanatorium now, as he's a bit off his rocker, and you shouldn't really expect too much. But
we'll see.
I will provide you with a letter of introduction to Hay, who owns the sanatorium, if you wish."
That would be lovely.
Does the little amulet react at all to the bodies?
Not. It does. It just
Okay.
seems like. I mean, whatever you want to make of it, but the bodies do not react to the symbol.
Is the symbol exactly the same? I want to take some time studying in that there's no slight alterations, maybe the way that one of the star tips, or that it all looks the exact same.
It looks the exact same.
All right.
And Tangle, Tangle, you really don't find anything of use that hasn't already been found. You're kind of in the room, and yeah, you really don't find anything else going on, really.
Okay, thanks.
I'm going to make my way back to the temple and spend my time poring over everything I can about any of the rituals, if there's any link to any of the gods. If it means going back and forth between the temple and the library, I should be all right. I don't think I'm probably the one to be talking to the insane.
But it is outside of town, and we have a murderer on the loose, not to mention a vengeful half-elf. I think it'd be best if the only person who could use the wand of Cure Light Wounds would come along.
All
I'll
right.
help you research tonight, I promise.
All right.
I think the party learned a valuable lesson in not splitting the party long ago.
Party, man.
I'm not saying that there's anything fruitful, but...
We making our way to the sanatorium, then?
Yes.
All right. Give me a quick couple minutes. We'll take another small break here while I get the sanatorium loaded up.
All right.